I live in the city of Rochester in Cornhill.
What's your profession?
I am a teacher, and I also coordinate our Teaching and Learning Institute, which is our magnet program for future teachers and leaders at East High School.
What's your gender?
I'm a female.
Thought so. Your educational background?
Well, I started out at the University of Richmond in Virginia when I was a freshman in college. And then I transferred to the University of Rochester, where I got my Bachelor's of Science in History. And then I continued on at University of Rochester, and I went to the Warner School, where I got my Master's of Science in Teaching and Curriculum. And then later on, I went to University of Rochester once again and received my administrative certificate.
Why did you choose the colleges you chose?
Good question. I chose University of Rochester, when I went to University of Richmond as a freshman, I first off did not want to look at any of the colleges that were close to home. I was originally from the Rochester area, so I really wanted to go far away from my family, I thought. And University of Richmond, number one, was a very, very pretty campus, and I tend to get caught up in aesthetics, so I liked the way it looked. Bad idea when choosing a college, by the way, personally. And then I also got a pretty big scholarship at University of Richmond to pursue leadership studies. And at the time, University of Richmond was one of the only places in the country that had a major called leadership studies, which I thought I was interested in. I ended up transferring because I didn't really like University of Richmond for a variety of reasons, but especially because it was not very diverse. It was pretty conservative, and I have pretty liberal views. But most of all, I wanted to come close to home. I ended up getting pretty homesick, and then found out that my dad was unfortunately terminally ill, and I wanted to come back to Rochester to be closer to him as he got sicker.
Was that your first time leaving home?
No, actually, and that was the interesting thing why I never thought I really would be homesick, because as a high school student, I had been an exchange student to Switzerland. So I had lived away from my family and actually lived with another family when I was 16 years old. So I really did not think that I was going to experience the kind of homesickness that I did when I went to University of Richmond.
Did you have a job while you were in high school?
I babysat a lot, but I did not have a formal job when I was in high school.
Okay. How did you react to the responsibilities of being a college student? I really don't think I was very prepared for college. I had a pretty easy time in high school, both academically and socially, and I thought that college I would sort of pick up where I left off in high school, and college was a lot different. And so it wasn't so much the responsibilities. I think I knew what it took to be mature and responsible for myself and getting myself up in time and things like that. But the kind of work that I was asked to do in college was very different than the kind of work I was expected to do in high school. How different?
In high school, things were very directed by your teachers, and if you did an assignment and you followed the directions, you tended to do pretty well. Didn't usually require too much critical thinking skills, and so I was very good at following the directions of my teachers and meeting their requirements, and I was excellent at writing that 5-paragraph essay with a thesis statement and all of that. And then when I got to college, and I had to learn how to do research and things like that, those were skills I just was not familiar with coming into college.
Do you think you were ready for college at all?
Socially, I think I was. I just think that I did not pick the right college for me personally, because I, as I said, went by the aesthetics, not really the vision of the school and all of that. But academically, no, I definitely don't think I was ready for college. I had done very, very well in high school, and things came very easily to me there. But that was not the case when I got to college.
Who was your toughest teacher in high school?
And that's the interesting thing, is that I honestly cannot
think back to a teacher that I really felt really pushed me when I was in high school, which makes me sort of sad looking back. I would get assignments. Oftentimes I'd finish them early, and I did not really find too much challenge when I was in high school.
Do you think you were just smarter than the teacher, or did the teacher just not push you?
At the time, I think I thought I was smarter. But looking back and being a teacher now, I just think that the skills that they were asking of me didn't require that much higher level thinking skills. It was read this, answer some questions. Things were very straightforward, and I wasn't really asked to think for myself and analyze and critique things the way that I was being asked in college.
What skills did you learn in high school that helped you prepare for college?
I went to a pretty diverse high school, and so because of that, I think I learned how to get along with different people. And so I think socially that helped me in college. I went to a school that was a medium-sized school. I graduated with about 200 people, but it wasn't huge. And I was able in high school to take on a lot of leadership roles. I was the class president. I played 3 varsity sports and was the captain for all of them. And so I think in high school I was really able to do a lot with my leadership capabilities and things like that. But academically, I was definitely not asked to do as much reading as I wish I had been, or writing. And that was a huge difference in college.
As a teacher, what do you think teachers should do to help prepare students to be college ready?
Oh, there's a whole host of things I think that we need to do as teachers. Most importantly, we need to expose students to college level work early on. We need to ask students to do a lot of reading and writing and be disciplined about it. And most importantly, I think we really need to ask our students to be creative thinkers and use those higher order thinking skills like analyzing, critiquing, so that they are really becoming thinkers for themselves and not just regurgitating material that the teacher's trying to get through. I want my students to really ask great questions and think about things even more after leaving my classroom, not just thinking that they got the answers from Miss D and that they can move on.
Is this something that you take to the heart and you try to change?
I really do try to do that as much as possible, especially in the TLI program. And I really try and have high expectations for our students. Oftentimes I feel like I am sort of rowing against the rest of the stream at our school, because I think that a lot of the teachers that I encounter have pretty low expectations of our students. I've encountered some colleagues that actually don't assign homework to students because they figure, they're not going to do it anyway, and they almost pity our students because they sometimes think, their home life must be so crazy, they're never going to read that, and things like that. And I think that we really need to push our students to the limit in terms of academics so that they are more ready than I was when I went to college. And I especially find that we have an important responsibility with many of our students because so many of them are first generation college students. So they don't necessarily have the support network that I did at home because my parents were both college graduates, and when I was struggling I could easily call them. Many of our students don't have that, and they're the first ones in their family to go to college, so I want them to be as ready as possible, but it's tough.
You mentioned the TLI program a few times. Can you explain a little bit of what that is?
It's a 4-year magnet program for students that are interested in going into the field of education or leadership. We truly believe that the skills that we teach in our program are not just for teaching, but are transferable to all other professions. And so being a good communicator, a good listener, an organizer, a critical thinker. And so I would say probably 60 to 70% of our students do want to be
classroom teachers or college professors or elementary teachers, but many of them want to go on into the work worlds and do other things. But we take them as freshmen in high school, and we start with about 25 students, and then they graduate hopefully 4 years later.
Is there any advice you would like to give high school students to help them prepare to be ready for college?
Push yourself, and if people are not pushing you hard enough, that's where you really have to be disciplined about things. Too often, students get caught up in all the other aspects of high school, the social stuff, and sometimes you need to leave that baggage at the door and really just roll up your sleeves and get to work. But you need to be disciplined about your academics.
Anything else you would like to say?
Just goodbye to the people that are leaving right now.
Thank you.